everyone, and welcome back to the Playeasy Warmup, the podcast where we dive into the stories, people, and passion driving the sporting event and tourism industry forward. I'm your host, Kerri Shields, and today we're heading to one of the most dynamic sports destinations in the Southeast, York County, South Carolina. From top-tier facilities to a community that rallies around sports of all kinds, York County has quietly become a powerhouse in the world of sports tourism. On this episode, we sit down with the team driving that momentum to talk about how they're bringing events to life, the partnerships fueling their growth, and the impact they're seeing both on and off the field, and how they're using Playeasy to do so. And to start this episode, I have a very special guest with me, my coworker and teammate, Brenna Collins. Brenna, thanks for being here.
Hello, thanks for having me. Super excited.
Yeah, and so I wanted to have you on because we recently took a very fun trip to York County, South Carolina. They've been partners of ours using our platform for a few years now and have really been one of those customers that have been in the forefront and always open to new ideas, being beta testers of ours, and now using our Playeasy experiences. And so we got to see firsthand just how they're doing so. So I wanted to get your perspective of the trip and a bit of insight that we could share with the listeners.
Yeah, awesome. So I have been working with Visit York County since 2021, I think it is, on the platform. And honestly, since day one, they've been like one of our most innovative customers. It was clear to me since our onboarding that they were really going to take the platform and our tools and really run with it and make it their own. So it was really a full circle moment for us, I feel like, to go down for this trip a couple of weeks ago. But essentially, they really took our platform and basically power their whole community and all of their sports experiences through Playeasy for the events that they're hosting, kind of tying in their hotel partners and all of their local businesses. So we were fortunate enough to go down and see one of the events firsthand and kind of see how Playeasy works in person for all of those attendees and kind of creating that digital experience that works also at the event itself. So it was a super cool, definitely full circle moment to see it all in person.
Yeah, love it. And I love that we were able to do that together. We had such a fun 2 days in doing so. We were there for, later in this episode, you'll hear from Kevin from Big Shots. And so could you speak to how they incorporated Playeasy experiences into that big event happening while we were there?
Yeah, totally. So essentially, Jordan at Visit York County and the rest of their team there create a whole digital microsite for the event itself that tied in all of the hotel options they have in the area, all of the local things to do in the area, and on top of that, all of the deals and discounts available for attendees in the area. It's all kind of centralized in this microsite that Visit York County creates to promote all of their local partners. And that was created months in advance. So essentially, they passed that over to Kevin at Big Shots, and that's kind of turns into his whole one-stop shop event microsite to give out to all of their attendees in advance. So that started prior to the event, kind of sending out in all of their digital newsletters, how to prep for the event, where you should stay, where you should go. So that was all ahead of time. And then during the event itself, they had a ton of activations around the community so that people in person could figure out, okay, we're at the event now. Where should we go afterwards for a bite to eat? Are there anywhere that we could get a cheaper discount, some money off, and kind of experience the whole area? So at the event itself and kind of all of their local business partners and hotels, there were a bunch of QR codes that scanned to that digital event experience and kind of just brings up all of that information on behalf of Visit York County. So now everyone in the area knows what to do and kind of helps power that experience. And on top of that, they also use our AI tour guide. So basically that pulls in all of their information that they've added to that event page, and it kind of serves as like a digital concierge for that event experience. So anyone that does scan that QR code, it pulls up that event page, it pulls up on Visit York County's website, powered through Playeasy, this custom tour guide that can give you any sort of recommendations around the area. So super cool in person to kind of have the activation there, and just was incredible to see how much they did in terms of custom signage with those QR codes at the event, at the hotels. So super cool to kind of see it all come together. And it was kind of all centralized on that microsite that they create on Playeasy, but kind of carries right over to their website so they can keep all the viewers there, have people scanning to their site and checking out the whole event experience. So yeah, a little bit of everything there, but it was super cool to kind of see how they combined it all together.
Yeah, and I think when this episode comes out, we'll have officially unveiled what we are branding Playeasy experiences. And so all of the technology that they're using around this digital concierge and event experience is now going to be in multiple cities across the country. And so it was great just to be able to see it live in action, people using it, being able to go to some of the businesses who it was clear how much the city really buys into hosting the best sporting events possible and making everyone from visitors and spectators and players and coaches get the most out of their experience while visiting York County. And we can speak very highly of their team. They have just been so great to work with. And I'll let you say a few words of what everyone should be able to expect from these interviews coming up.
Yeah, awesome. So we were super fortunate to sit down with Visit York County's team and all of their close partners, really hear firsthand their experience, how they all work together, and how kind of Playeasy ties into all of it. So we got to chat with Andy Clinton from Visit York County and Brian Jones from Rocks Hill Parks Recreation and Tourism. So it was great to kind of hear both of their perspectives. Brian and Andy work super closely together. Andy with the Visit York County side of things, and Brian with all of the venues in the area and kind of tying those two pieces together. So first, we were lucky enough to hear really how sports tourism works in the area and how Visit York County works with Rock Hill Parks Recreation and Tourism to kind of make everything happen together seamlessly for event experiences. So that was the first interview we were fortunate enough to hear from.
Yes, Brian and Andy were so much fun to talk to and really educated us on how they work together as a community. And I think the one thing that really stood out to me is just the leadership within their tourism bureau and how they've fully bought into giving their team, how do we continue to innovate within the industry and provide the best visitor experience possible. And so I really enjoyed that conversation. And then we had a great conversation with Jordan McCraw after that. Do you want to speak to our conversation with him?
Yeah, definitely. So next, we were also lucky enough to sit down with Jordan McCraw from Visit York County. He is really in the weeds using the Playeasy platform every day with his partner Annabelle there at Visit York County. The two of them are incredible just in terms of once they land events coming into the destination, really how do they power that event experience, give them all the tools that their event organizer partner and participants might need. So we really heard firsthand from Jordan how he goes about creating that event experience, how valuable the tech platform is to bring it all together, and really how kind of all of those parts come together on a day-to-day basis, event per event. So it was great to hear kind of boots on the ground, how it works from a local that is from York County and really passionate about the area. So very much enjoyed that conversation.
Yeah, Jordan and Annabelle were great. They were really our tour guides for our trip to York County. And so just really good people, really great team, and doing big things in their city. And then we did have the opportunity to meet with a few of the businesses that, pretty funny, we see the names and the profiles on our platform and on York County's website from powering with our website elements. So some of the businesses that we've seen, like Dank Burrito, hotels, and then Kevin with Big Shots, we had the opportunity to sit down with them. Could you speak to just the experience we had and getting to know some of the people within the community?
Yeah, totally. I was honestly blown away by how many people were available and willing to chat with us when we were there. Everybody was so willing and wanted to chat about kind of how sports tourism works and how they're involved. So first we got to chat with Kevin at Big Shots. He is a South Carolina local as well and really passionate also and familiar with what we do at Playeasy, which is always helpful. But really just hearing firsthand from him how great it is to host an event in Visit York County in partnership with Rock Hill Parks Recreation and Tourism as well, and how kind of these digital tools really help him in advance and at the event kind of curate that event experience. So that was incredible to hear firsthand. And then really it was kind of an incredible moment hearing from the businesses. That was my first experience hearing from the businesses themselves that are active on Playeasy, coming in every day, logging in, seeing what events are nearby, creating promotions for the events coming into town, and really how they work with the local partners to set up these event experiences and kind of take it into their own hands so that they're involved, they know what events are coming, and they can actually track their success in terms of what events are coming in and how much business they're getting. So it kind of ties all parties together, and being able to chat with all sides of the equation was super helpful just to kind of round out that whole experience.
Yeah, and just to wrap it up, I think just being able to see real world success of people utilizing Playeasy and our technology is always kind of a humbling moment, but one that, it really, you have to take a step back and appreciate how far we've come, and that we are really making a difference within these community and bringing all of the stakeholders involved in creating the best visitor experience possible. And so really grateful for everyone who took the time to speak to us. I hope you guys enjoyed these conversations as much as we did. Thank you, Brenna. Hey, everyone. Quick pause to let you in on something we're really excited about. We are hosting our company's first ever summit this summer, the Playeasy Innovators Summit, from July 21st to 23rd in Valley Forge, PA. This isn't your typical conference. It's 3 days of powerful conversations, hands-on workshops, and real-world strategies for how we as an industry can level up with new technology and AI. We're talking sessions on growing event leads, boosting visitor and event experiences, and driving revenue from your Playeasy profile, all while connecting with top destinations, organizers, and partners from around the country. Plus, our team loves to have fun. We'll kick things off with a party, venture to one of Valley Forge's top attractions, and wrap it up with a Phillies-Red Sox game. And pack everything in between with value you can actually take home and use. If you're in sports tourism or destination marketing, this is where you need to be. Head to go.playeasy.com/innovatorsummit or email us at support@playeasy.com to save your spot. We'll see you there. Brian and Andy, thanks so much for being here.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, so could you start by introducing yourself and sharing a bit about your role and what your organization focuses on?
Yeah, so Andy Clinton with Visit York County, president and CEO. I've been with the organization 12 years, going on 13. So I've been with the organization for a while now. So I hopefully have this organization figured out, can give you a pretty good lay of the land. But yeah, I mean, it started off entry level, worked myself into different roles, more on a services side, and then on the sales side, and then obviously in my position today. But Visit York County, yeah, we are tourism for York County, our area, which is right outside of Charlotte, North Carolina. We are in South Carolina, so we're right on the border. We don't own any facilities. That's where Brian comes into play, so he'll tell you about that. But we market the whole area, and we market, attractions like Carowinds or the lake or the river, restaurants, breweries. We have our website, we have our social media channels. We do a lot of short form video, but then we also have a recruitment side as well, where we're trying to recruit and bring in events, whether that's basketball or volleyball or cornhole. And then we're definitely getting more in the realm of visitor services. So when visitors come here, making sure that we can provide recommendations for restaurants and things to do. And that's where you guys come into play.
Awesome. Brian, how about you?
Yeah, so Brian Jones, I am the tourism supervisor for Parks, Recreation, and Tourism for the city of Rock Hill. We are a city inside of York County. And we're kind of the DMO for the city. We work well with the CVB and Andy and those guys, and they're the DMO of the county, which we're a part of as well. So it's kind of a weird marriage, if you will. But yeah, we work with the county, and the county works with us. And but yeah, the tourism supervisor. So we my team brings in events, recruits events, brings in events, sporting events, tourism, any tourism event. to work with, rights holders and obviously the CVB and things like that.
Awesome. And so to give a bit of a history of sports tourism within your community, could you share how sports tourism really began in this area and how local partners came together to really promote and grow this industry?
Yeah, so 1985, we got into the sports tourism business. Our town then, our city then, was really high industrial, textiles, as many small towns are in South Carolina. And then when those things kind of went overseas, we kind of had to reinvent ourselves in many different ways. And one of those was to pick up the torch of the sports tourism. So 1985, our first park was built, Cherry Park. It is our baseball, softball, football park, if you will. We call it the granddaddy or the grandmother of sports tourism here in Rock Hill. It kind of started, it was kind of the catalyst for all the other venues that we have. And it enabled us to see the value in it and bringing tourists into town to spend their hard-earned dollars here in our town. But it also enabled us to include tourism into our name. So we are a Parks and Recreation department, but we're Parks, Recreation, and Tourism department. So we added that tourism side into it. And then, many partners went in to see that happen, and whether, obviously the city of Rock Hill, the council, the city management and their vision for sports tourism and reinventing ourselves in that capacity, but also the county in the CVB. I don't know what year, Andy, you guys came on board, but our director then, John Taylor and Ed Thompson, were a catalyst in getting that started to help recruit events back to town. Now we really work together cohesively in bringing events to town and servicing those events, whether it's with customer service or things like that. So it's a partnership. Winthrop University here in town, it's a great partner of ours. There's lots of many community members that were involved, and it was highly contentious back in '85 on why are we doing this for others when we should be doing it for ourselves. But they quickly realized that money that was created from Cherry Park, we were able to build other facilities like our tennis facility and our soccer complex and our indoor sports facility that didn't raise our taxes of the people that lived here in the city, but we're able to enjoy those as the Parks and Recreation department during the week, and then a tourism department on the weekends.
That's awesome. And I can say I recently was able to take a trip to Rock Hill, and it is such a special community, and how everyone is really bought in to the events that are coming in to your town and making sure that the visitor experience is top notch. And so it's clear that you've gotten the community to really buy in since the evolution of this tourism within your community. What have you done to get people to buy in, whether that be partners or the people within your community?
Yeah. In a big role of like what I do, is just that I think it's continuing to provide that awareness to city council, to county council, to those stakeholders, because there is a buy-in. And like Brian said, what happened in 1985, there still is that same narrative that you need to make sure that you tell the story the right way, where, because a lot of people, county council has the right to think, hey, this facility or a city council, why aren't the local residents in there over the weekend? Why are we not taking care of our own community? And Brian's right. You have to make sure you're telling the story that, like, hey, these visitors that are coming into town, they are coming to our restaurants. They are spending money at our hotels, and that tax money is why the facility is built in the first place. So it's really important, whether that's on social media or doing podcasts like this, or on LinkedIn or annual reports, or we just had an event a couple weeks ago for county council and stakeholders to really comprehend and understand why we do what we do. So it's really important to make sure you're telling that story, because I probably a lot of people don't quite realize influx and the amount of people that are coming in and the impact. We have a software that's mobile location data, and it's really eye-opening to just see different restaurants in different parts of the county where people probably wouldn't necessarily expect it, but 20, 30, 40, 50% of the customers of this restaurant are from outside the county.
And from both of your perspectives, how do you approach promoting tourism in Rock Hill and York County?
Yeah, I think there's, this done many different ways. Obviously, old school ways of, how people get their information now is totally different. So we take kind of a shotgun approach of putting it out there and trying to get it, get our name out there in many, many different ways, whether it be, old school or it's face to face or in the newspaper or social media or whatever. But we work hard to provide a quality product. And I tell people all the time, if I can get you to Rock Hill, if you can see the city and the amenities and the facilities that we have, you'll buy into what we're trying to do. And it used to be, we used to have to tell people where Rock Hill is. Rock Hill is a suburb of Charlotte, and what airport do you use, all that kind of stuff. Now we don't. Now Rock Hill and York County are really looked at as a model. Like, this is how Parks, Recreation, and Tourism is done, correctly, by bringing in, international events and local events and regional events and doing a multitude of events, being creative, whether it's Quidditch or cornhole or slippery stairs or axe throwing or traditionals where it's volleyball or basketball. I think, the marketing side of it, the approach side of it, it can't be done just one way anymore. It's done in a multitude of ways. It's done, through Playeasy. It's done through, our social media outlets. It's done by cold calling. It's done by face-to-face meetings. I mean, there's no wrong or right way of doing it, because it all produces, you don't know what they're producing, right? You don't know what your Twitter followers are interested in unless you put it out there.
And so just to you mentioned this small town feel, and I'll test the travel to get to York County was so easy. Flying right into the Charlotte airport, less than a 30-minute drive for us to get in and really see the whole community. So with that small town feel, you are still hosting some of the biggest events in the country. Could you speak a little bit to some of those events that you are hosting, and maybe give an example of a successful event that people might not know that you host?
Yeah, well, I think it's a credit to our city council and our city management and city manager and our director, Mark Sexton. They build these world-class facilities. And I tell people all the time, Rock Hill, the city of Rock Hill is either in or they're out. They're not going to just dip their toe into it, right? If they're going to build a basketball complex, it's going to be the nicest that anybody's ever seen. It's going to have, 10 courts. It's going to be a showpiece that we can hang our hat on, we can be proud of. And, when you talk to people, when you talk to the big players in the games or in the game, it, like I said, it kind of sells itself, makes my job, makes Andy's job really easy. Yeah. When you can say, hey, you can play your games here. You can eat here, or you can eat at the restaurant that shares a hallway, and you can stay in a hotel that's 5 feet away. Oh, and by the way, everybody in our town will know you're here, and they're going to be the hotels will be wearing pins that, welcome to Rock Hill, Adidas or NCAA or NBA or whoever it is, to welcome you. Where if you went to Chicago or Orlando or Atlanta or those bigger cities, they don't know you're there because they have so much going on. But some of the cool events that we recently were awarded is the NBA PA Players Association Top 100 Camp, which is a really, really cool get for us and a really cool event. That, again, it was one of those things where they heard about us through some friends, and they came and saw it, and they were just like, they were blown away with it. And kind of same thing with you saying how easy it was to get from the airport down here, one street, basically one highway, little traffic. But then when they get into Rock Hill, we have all the amenities, we have all the hotels, we have all the chains, we have the shopping, we have, the no traffic, the easy way of getting around. And again, I think Rock Hill just kind of sells itself in that fact that, we have a great city, we have a great community, but our facilities are better, if not the best, around. And again, it makes my job super, super easy.
Yeah, I'd say another one that we really kind of wrapped our arms around and really expanded this event is the United States Disc Golf Championships. Innova, so they are one of the top disc golf manufacturers in the world, and their East Coast location is in Rock Hill. So that's an event that it's been around 20 plus years, but in the past few years, disc golf has really exploded, and this event coincides with that. It's continued to increase as far as attendance, the amount of notoriety for it, and we've captured that and made that more of a community event. And and Playeasy, actually, I mean, you guys played a big role in that. That's where we're fairly new and still new as far as utilizing Playeasy, but Jordan McCraw from our office and Annabelle Thomas, they're the ones that are really in it, and they're doing a really good job as far as figuring out what works. But yeah, I mean, we had tents set up there, and we're right beside the beer vendors, and we have koozies to pass out, and we have mini disc and different swag, and we're on we had QR codes on the wristbands to get in for ticketing, and it's going back to the Playeasy page and discounts for restaurants, and so that's how we're continuing to be creative and figuring out what works. If something, I feel like we get too much in a mindset of just because something didn't work, like that's not, there's always ways to pivot. Just because something didn't work the first time, like it's not necessarily a bad thing. So yeah, no, I think, and that event really did, it worked out really well. And we utilized Playeasy a lot and had people going to restaurants and exploiting a lot of different ways to get in front of the visitor.
Yeah, and Jordan and Annabelle said that is one of their favorite events. So I have added it to my bucket list of events I need to go to in the future.
We need to make that one happen.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah. And so you mentioned the creativity. And I think one thing that always has stood out with your organization is you're always open to trying new things. And the industry that we're in and the sporting event and tourism network, it's pretty archaic in how we operate. And it's one of the biggest challenges for us as a tech company is getting people to buy into the new and improved and innovative ways that they can enhance that event experience. What is it about your organization that you want to be at the forefront of innovating within this industry?
Yeah, and I can answer that for Parks, Recreation, and Tourism is, we try to be creative as possible because we try to have we call it the Disney model, right? Of trying not to say no. We try not to say no. We try to accommodate everybody as best we can. It might be something like, well, not now, but maybe later. But what we've learned is Quidditch people have money too. Slippery stairs people have money too. So those things, it doesn't have to necessarily be volleyball, basketball, baseball, soccer. You can be creative. Cornhole, for example. I see you're wearing your ACL hat. I mean, that's a great example of being creative. And because we were creative with Stacy and his team, it brought jobs to Rock Hill. I mean, they brought their manufacturing plant to Rock Hill. So it brought 50 jobs to our city, which is something that not a lot of sports tourism events can say that they did. So being creative, being open-minded to those things, being open-minded to Ocho Day, like, hey, this is kind of crazy to be throwing knives in our multi-million-dollar building, but man, has that brought us some eyeballs on ESPN and people watching us and saying, where's Rock Hill? And hey, Brian, I saw you, saw you get on TV, I saw Rock Hill on TV again. And you can't put a price tag on that. You can't say that that's worth X amount of dollars. Slippery Stairs, I saw was re-aired 154 times last year. So that one event that we had, being creative and allowing them to do what they wanted to do and being a partner with them. I mean, it's a lot of partnerships. It helps, obviously generate money for our town and for our community, but it's that model of trying not to say no. Try like, hey, you want to do wheelchair rugby? Let's make it happen. Let's figure out how to make it happen. Okay, you need transportation from the airport. Let's figure out how to make that happen. And financially, we might be able to help some in those areas, and sometimes, we can't. But you try to be very creative and very open-minded, and try your best not to say no.
I think, and I credit, just the people that we have in our office. And I spoke with Jordan and Annabelle because they're the ones that are tied directly to Playeasy, but because you don't necessarily have some perfect roadmap of exactly how you want things to be done, and you have to be willing to think outside the box and think creatively. Because I'll tell you, for the past few years, our way of how we were getting in front of visitors are, we're putting up banners or we're putting up sandwich boards. Sandwich boards is what we would put up, and it'd have, restaurants or, some sort of image or ad and a QR code that would go to, Playeasy, right? And it's how are we doing stuff different? How do we continue to evolve on that to get in front of the visitors? Is it paid advertising before they get there? Is it, getting the coaches' emails or getting, information to get passed out to the event organizer, or the team moms, or whoever prior to the event? Getting QR codes on wristbands, but how are we continuing to evolve? And I'm pretty big on, because Jordan and I don't always see eye to eye, and I think that's good. I think that if somebody just listens to everything I say, that's not how you're going to continue to evolve. So we have different ideas, and we kind of go back and forth on what works, and I feel like that helps us move forward in a direction.
Definitely. And I think it's a testament to both of your leadership, just the ability to let your team be creative. And I know it was clear, just being a part of a weekend event a few weeks ago and having a tour of the community, your team really buys into what they're doing. And I know they're going in on the weekends and volunteering at events, and that's just not something you see. And so I really just want to credit your leadership team, because it's clear that whatever you're doing, you're doing it well, and making them really feel like they're a part of continuing to build sports tourism within your city. And so when we were in Rock Hill, we had the opportunity to go to some of the venues that had a QR code that went to some of the local promotions within the community, as well as an AI tour guide. Could you speak to why you think that is important to the overall visitor experience for people coming into your city?
Let me start, and then I'll let Andy talk about the QR code. But every little thing that we do to make the customer appreciate us and appreciate where they are is very, very important. The QR code is a great tool that is used to make people feel special, to make people feel like they're getting a good deal, or they're getting. But I mean, everything from the first impressions of parking. We have free parking. To bathrooms are clean. Do they see staff, cleaning bathrooms? And it's and the QR code is another example of that, of how that one little thing might set us apart from the next destination. And we've learned since 1985 that dads might decide where you go first, but mom's going to decide if you go back.
Yeah.
So if you make moms happy with clean bathrooms and a QR code where they can save some money by going to a certain restaurant, by the way, that's very, very good food that they're getting a discount on. And it's easy to get there. You don't have to wait for an hour to get in, and it's not a chain, or it may be a chain if they like a certain restaurant that we have. I mean, all that is invaluable to what we're trying to accomplish here. And it also helps in sales. Like, hey, look what we have here. Look at the restaurants that we have here. Look at the hotels we have here. Oh, and by the way, if you use this QR code, then you're going to get a discount at those restaurants.
Yeah. And we've continued to, and I had a conversation with Jordan this morning. How are we continuing to implement, because Playeasy is a great platform, and it's, and the event page, and it has all the tools for, if you're the teen mom or whoever, getting on that page and figuring out the discounts, the restaurants or the hotels, and how are we continuing to adjust what our website looks like. But it's great to have the QR code and the sandwich board and figuring out, I feel like we're still tip of the iceberg, just kind of getting our feet wet and figuring out what works and what doesn't work and how do we adjust. We had, it was 12,000 page views on the Playeasy event websites, or the event landing pages, which I think is a really good start. That's 12,000 people that are looking at restaurants and things to do in our area. And we have our deals and discounts page that had another, I think it was close to 4,000 page views. So once again, I think we're obviously wanting to build on those numbers, but those are numbers that we can give back to the restaurants and to the hotels that, hey, we had 12,000 people looking for discounts for restaurants. I think being able to provide that asset to the visitor is important.
And we're not even mentioning that. We're not even mentioning the fact that how happy it's making the restaurants, right? It's definitely an advantage for the buyer, but the seller too, the restaurant is, loving the fact that they're driving people to their restaurants. We talk about this all the time that, we can tell people where restaurants are or share. We can't make them go there, obviously. It's like leading a horse to water. You can't make it drink. But if they have the tools in their hand, that everybody uses that phone that they have to get a QR code to find out where the best barbecue is in town, or find out where they can get a 10% off meal, or kids eat free, or free hot dog, or whatever that option is. That's huge.
And you guys, as I mentioned, we're one of our beta testers in really building out this whole event experience part of our platform. And last summer, I had the opportunity to visit as well. And it was one very eye-opening of how much the local businesses and restaurants and hotels all knew who you were and what it is that you do. Because I think one of the hardest parts of your jobs is advocating to the community, the impact that your jobs are having by bringing in these events to your city. So one, that was just awesome to see in person. And two, being able to really connect with some of those local businesses, and from our perspective to say, hey, what would make it impactful for you to see, to be able to track the people coming in, to be able to be aware that, hey, there is a big basketball event at the event center down the street. So make sure that you have enough people in the stores. And so it was extremely impactful for us to be able to learn from you and how you operate. And so really just want to thank you for that, because I think a lot of our success is due to learning firsthand from our customers. And you guys have been a big part of that journey. And so to just wrap up, a few fun questions. If you could bring any sporting event or tournament to Rock Hill, your county, what would that be? You can manifest it.
Oh man.
I think I
know, Andy, you got one?
I think I know and this is, we don't have to think realistic. I mean, are we going, does this need to be realistic or not?
It doesn't have to be realistic. No limits.
Okay. No limits. I'm bringing the college football playoff national championship game to Rock Hill, South Carolina. And I hope my Gamecocks are playing in it.
Yeah. Love it.
Yeah,
How about you, Brian?
I'll go more. I'd love to, a World Cup game here would be crazy. Or any type of, Olympic event. The Olympics are coming this way soon. So, we have a velodrome and a BMX track. to be able to host something that involved, something like the national championships or, we never thought we would be hosting BMX World Championships and international stuff like table tennis, Pan Am table tennis, and NBA and Adidas and these, we didn't have those thoughts in our mind when we built this. But to your point, that would be really cool to use the facilities that we built that would bring, another cool thing would be to see somebody from our community that grew up like either on our track or at our basketball facility or at our baseball facility that would be on that national, Olympic type scale. Would be cool. I mean, we have football athletes and basketball players, quite often, but to have somebody on that, to win a gold medal would be somebody on a BMX to win a gold medal that was born and raised in Rock Hill and practiced on our tracks and warm up on our tracks. I think that would be really cool.
Well, you might have a chance. I know flag football is going to be an Olympic sport soon, and you guys are, I might get this fact wrong, but the most professional football players in the country grew up in per capita. Okay, so
you're on it. Yeah.
Yeah. That's awesome. And last question, I know this is going to be a hard one, but what's a favorite local spot you always recommend to visitors?
Andy, I'll let you go for that one first.
Ooh, and I'll give you two. So
Okay.
as far as and you can't. I'm choosing favorites. Yeah, I'm not supposed to, but Elk Avenue. I believe, did you guys go there?
Yes, it's right down the street from your office.
That's where you guys went. But yeah,
Yes.
cheeseburger is up there. It's probably one of the best I've ever had. So cheeseburger at Elk Ave, and then Prater's cookies. As far as if you're wanting best chocolate chip cookie, you're going to Prater's Bakery. Those are probably my two.
Yeah, and I'll keep it close to home. I mean, we've got some great restaurants within walking distance of our indoor facility, and Old Town Kitchen and Cocktails. We're not really supposed to pick favorites either, but we have a lot of great. We've got a lot of good chain restaurants. We've got a lot of chain restaurants, and they're walkable with a lot of our sports facilities in the city. And we've got a pizza place, Empire Pizza next door, Dank Burrito, Everbowl, the Powerhouse Food Halls down the street. I mean, we've got the Cambria Hotel. I mean, everything.
He's being all politically correct. He's not listing all of
Yeah.
them. I'm the one that's going to get in trouble.
No, I mean, it's tough because, again, it goes back to, we have all these great restaurants, and we tell people, but you can't make them go there. You can't force them to go there. I mean, Charlotte right up the street, it's, I don't know, it's tough. But yeah, like Andy said, we've got a lot of great restaurants. I mean, Roar Entertainment is right outside our doors too. I mean, it's a great place to go play putt-putt and bowling and things like that. Sully Steamers Bagels just opened up next door too. I mean, it's hard to choose.
Yep.
Hard to choose one place.
But
I mean, it really is.
That's where y'all's platform really kind of comes into play. Where Brian's saying we can't force anybody to go to the restaurant, but we're hoping that maybe it's not the first time or the second time or the third time. Maybe it's the fourth time they come back to Rock Hill and they're finally tired of going to fast food restaurants, and they're like, maybe I am gonna download this or click on this QR code and look at somewhere local. So I think it's just consistency as far as that message, and you guys do a good job on helping us provide that.
And we have people that come to Rock Hill and they go to the same restaurants every time they come. Like Friday night is our hobos night and Saturday night is our whatever night. So I mean, they know, they come a lot, so they know where their favorite spots are. And but it's really hard, somebody asked me like, what's your favorite restaurant? Man, it's different. It's different about every night. I mean, it is. It's hard.
Good problem to have.
Yeah.
Well, I can back that up because we left very full from our 48 hours.
Yeah, you mentioned the counter. Yeah.
I will say counter is one of the and told Jordan this, but the Hickory Post is one of my favorite stores. I always look forward to going there. But awesome. Well,
Yeah.
Brian and Andy, thank you guys so much for being a part of this, for your continued partnership. It really means a lot to us, and I know our team loves working with you and excited to continue our partnership moving forward. So thank you for your time.
No problem.
Appreciate you.
Enjoyed it.
Awesome. All right. Thanks, everyone. Till next time. Bye. Jordan, thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited.
Of course. So to start, could you tell us a little bit about your role at Visit Your County and what you focus on day to day?
Yeah, so I'm the director of sales here at Visit York County. My day-to-day goals are pretty much to showcase and network and talk with as many local stakeholders and possible event leads to bring into the area, and satisfy our local business partners, whether that's hotels, attractions, things to do, restaurants, stuff like that. But kind of keeping all of them on the same page of what we have planned and what we're trying to do. Letting my boss, Andy Clinton, know kind of what my plans are and what we want to do here in the future for future years, budget wise, that kind of stuff, prepping out things years in advance. But it's always something new every week. That's the best part about this industry, is most CVBs aren't the biggest in general, especially for a small town like Rock Hill or York County. And with that, 6-7 man team, you wear multiple hats. So I wear a hat 7 different ways for my job currently, but it's a fun time. So yeah, that's pretty much the gist of it.
Perfect. And I know you and I get to work closely together just over the past few years, kind of going through how you organize your events, how you work with your event organizers, but would love to hear a little bit more from your point of view. Why is creating such a strong visitor experience so important when it comes to sports tourism and your events?
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to talk about other destinations, but there's a couple of different locations that I've been to where I used to run basketball tournaments with Kevin Schneider out at Big Shots. And the biggest thing I ever heard back when I tried to recruit teams to that tournament would be like, we loved the facility, but like the downtown was like a ghost town, or like, the hotel was nasty, or it was a pain to get here on this side of the state versus this side of the state. And, there's no airport nearby. Having all the different things that makes life easier. Traveling for anybody is stressful, no matter it's vacation and you really can't wait to go somewhere, or it's, you're paying a lot of money to travel somewhere to watch your kid play 13-year-old basketball. There's not really a difference. It's still stressful. And with that, having, good looking hotels, a clean room, having restaurants with easy access, the ability to get rental cars or need a car if you need it, having the ability to have Ubers if you can have them. Just having those different options for any type of family and any type of situation to be able to utilize that and fully experience the area is big. And obviously we want to leave a first impression to where we host Big Shots, we host Phenom, we host Adidas, we host USA BMX, we host ACL Cornhole, we host all this stuff year round that's on an annual basis, US Disc Golf Championships. So they're coming back, and sometimes it's even 6 or 7 times in that same year for certain events. So, once you kind of get in the flow of coming to Rock Hill, you want to be able to know, hey, I know where I want to go eat. I know where I want to stay. I know how easy it is to get somewhere. I can use a back road instead of the interstate. Just having those different options compared to a big city is a really big, valuable piece for us. So showing that off and being able to make life easier in general is always a big priority for us.
I think, one of the many reasons that is fun about working with you, but you come from a similar background as my co-founders, Sean and Ryan and I, in that we grew up playing. And so everything we build is coming from our experience as not just a participant, but a spectator, a coach. And so building for that event experience. And so as you were speaking, it really clicked. Like everything you do is about how would you want to experience this while coming to York County. And so how has using Playeasy helped enhance or streamline the visitor experience in York County?
It's massive for us because if you think about it, every single event organizer uses a different registration website or how people sign up for tournaments. And the only way you're going to know, like I would love to be able to target Raleigh, North Carolina, and have all my ads and all my promotions for different things that I want to do just go to those people that I wanted to go to. But I don't know who's attending that tournament until I talk to the event organizer. The only way to hit those people is through the event organizer. So you have to get through their mediums, which is their websites or their social media channels or whatever the case is, for their registrations. And with the page that we have in Playeasy, It puts everything together with the, attractions in general that we have in the area, just local businesses, has deals and discounts, just the ones that are selected that want to be in that program. It has our hotel listings to where if there's a housing agency involved for the event, or it's just us promoting discounted links or rates or best available rates. We have that listed there on that page as well with a description of the event. The location of where it's at, the dates, how to register. Here's a link to the website if you want to look at their specific event details. But kind of giving that one-stop shop to really figure out what you're doing. It's massive for us in general, and it's an easy way for us to use a digital version of that visitor information to put that on different opportunities to market that, whether that's with wristbands, like the sandwich boards, whether that's with banners or whatever. You put a QR code on a t-shirt, you're a little crazy, but you could do that if you really wanted to. Like just stuff like that. So being able to have that digital component that goes out before the event so people can make their travel plans, but also utilize that same platform and that same event page while they're here to enhance that visitor experience is really big for us and how we're really trying to promote the area in general, and also gets more community buy-in, really shows the value of, what we're doing as an organization in partnership with all the parks and recs that we have here in the area. Across the entire county. So,
and I think as you were saying that we had the pleasure of coming and seeing one of those events, and you mentioned from Big Shots. Could you speak to how you get these event microsites in front of the participants and spectators, and how you work with organizers like Kevin to make sure that they're getting that pre-event, and then we can talk about during the event?
Yep. So, like I said, it is all like kind of case-by-case basis of what that event has the best avenue to communicate that, whether we share that link out a couple months in advance. If we're early enough, sometimes we get an event that falls in our lap last minute and we have to make something really quick. Regardless, that usually goes to like an email channel, which that person will send out like mass email blasts with just updates and reminders like, hey, book your hotel for this event date here to still take advantage of this room block. Or if it's, just any kind of social media boosted post or something like that. Sometimes it'll be when you register, you get an email sent straight to you with this is all your accommodations that we have lined up with the CVB in this area. Annabelle Thomas from our office, she kind of handles our destination services. So once the event's locked in, I try to pass it off to her. We both tag team it at the same time of getting things done with that and sharing with the event organizers because the relationships that we have with them already in place. But really kind of making it known to where every time that an event works with us in our contract for us, if we're given hotel assistance, if we're given financial assistance, if we're doing anything at all to help promote or be a part of this event, they have to share this link, this digital version of visitor information to their attendees. It's non-negotiable. They need to do that. And that really helps us, like I said, we can get value and track that out of that. We know we're making an impact, and we know if we have 250 teams coming for Big Shots like 2 weekends ago when you guys were down here for that, with I think it was like 1,800 to 2,100 participants, we know 2,100 people are going to get this in front of their eyes at some point, whether that's through the wristband or whether that's through the digital information on the email. Kevin, for instance, with Big Shots, he does a digital program that he sends out, and we're the first page of that digital program with deals and discounts to our local restaurants once they register. So it really just kind of depends on the event organizer and what their best medium is, but it really does take constant communication, constant updating of our current profiles, the AI functions that you guys have on the site to help kind of fill in some of the gaps. Sometimes is really nice for us because it's a lot of that data entry. That's probably the biggest hurdle, I think, in my experience in the whole industry. Is just the amount of data you got to do all the time. Because there's a lot of locations just like us where we host, this past weekend we had 2 different festivals and 4 different events going on for Memorial Day weekend. And that's amazing, but getting that out to those specific event organizers on time to get that information in front of them with the correct information, with the correct hotels, all that kind of stuff. It does help having a digital platform to plug and play with all this stuff that we can put together really easily and get that to them in a timely fashion, whether that's a 6-month prep, 2-year prep, or a 2-week prep to something fell in our lap.
Yeah, I guess it was super interesting for us and just an amazing experience to be with you in York County and kind of going to these hotels and these businesses that you guys work with to promote the event experience. It would be helpful to hear from your perspective, I guess, how do you work with these businesses, with these hotels, in terms of going to them, getting the QR code and all of the information they need in their hands. Any thoughts you have there would be great.
Yeah. I think the biggest thing, no matter if it's a hotel, attraction, anybody that wants to be a part of just promoting their business in the community, having them on the same page of, hey, this is what's coming in. Like, expect this amount of people, expect this amount of time frame they'll be here for. They're busy for this day, but they're kind of got a free afternoon for this day. I would look to kind of, not, you don't want to tell a business how to run their business, but you want to be able to help them, put them in the best position to succeed, no matter if they're doing a deal and discount or not. And with that, with the hotels, obviously, we want to have less stress on the hotel industry in general. The service industry for restaurants and hotels is always in shambles since COVID, really, with just turnover and new people. So avoiding having people that come for these events that rent out, 80, 90% of your inventory at a hotel, they can get their information now from this digital visitor information link with Playeasy in our platform, to then where that front desk worker doesn't have to actually answer a question about, what's around here to eat. It's not worried about that kind of stuff. It's more worried about learning the systems and learning how to work that hotel management plan, which is massive for their front desk workers. It's massive for restaurant workers. Keeping them informed of this discount even exists, because sometimes the chain of command in the restaurant, it might be, or the attraction, it might have a discount that they agree to, but their front, kiosk worker or the barista doesn't know about it. So they're like, do I scan this? Like, what is this? Like, trying to figure out the way to bridge that gap in the community to get everybody on the same page of what we're doing and how, whether that's with the QR codes. We have Destination Guide Stands, our magazine that has a bunch of different highlights and attractions of the area, with some different ad spaces in it that we like to promote to everybody that comes into town. It's a nice reading piece, but we have stands in each hotel, and using that to put that AI QR code that you guys have with our platform as well, so where you can ask the AI bot the question of, hey, what's the closest thing I can walk to that I can get a beer at, whatever the case is. Just having that ability to do that, and the hotel knowing that, and the restaurant knowing that, or the facility like the Rock Hill Sports and Event Center to know that. It makes life easier for everybody involved, the visitor, the player, the facility worker, the management of that facility, the management of the restaurant attraction, and for us, the less calls that we have to deal with at 2 a.m. because somebody's hotel's messed up, even better. Like, we don't want to answer the call at 2 a.m. when somebody upset. You know what I mean? Can't really do it.
Totally.
Yeah.
I think you're just taking so much legwork off of all of your partners that you work with, and I think it was huge for us to see in person how it actually works. How do people pull up and redeem a discount? And it's been great working with you so closely and figuring out how to make that process more seamless. So it was definitely awesome to see in person. So very much appreciate it.
Yeah, and could you speak to post-event, how you are utilizing the data analytics that are coming from those event microsites and business profiles on our platform, and also on your site as well, that we're powering through Playeasy?
Yeah. So typically, like every CVB, we always do reporting for economic impact data, and those estimations on that, you have different variables of like spectator factors, and you kind of just estimate what your impact was for the hotel industry, what it was like for the restaurant industry, for the transportation industry, the whole 9 yards. If anybody uses the DI calculator through Destinations International, you know what I'm talking about. Sometimes when you put those numbers in, that calculator tells you what you told it to say. And with that, sometimes you make the economic impact number match, but you don't make the actual impacts to the actual sectors match. So having this ability to say, like, hey, like, you had 35% of your business from, Atlanta, Georgia this weekend because we had a baseball tournament in town, that coincides with the, 80 teams we had at the Diamonds that weekend. That is valuable information. To a restaurant worker, they don't see the baseball bat. They don't see the glove. They don't know they're there from that. They just think they had a good or a bad weekend. But being able to provide the value of like, hey, this is why you should be involved with us. This is why you should help support us. This is why you should be on the same page as us. As without that 35, 40% of your business that weekend, what would you do? Like, would you be happy? Would you be upset? You're probably not going to be happy. You've probably had a bad weekend. So you're kind of proving your value in a way. It's not really in their face, but it's also like, wake up a little bit, like to kind of see what we're doing here. And not in like a derogatory tone or anything. That's just kind of like the way to prove the value without having to kind of flaunt a number on an economic impact report that might not truly state, like say for American Cornhole League World Championships. I think the total was like 10 to 13 economic or 10 to 13 million economic impact. But if I went to our restaurants and I said, hey, $3 million of our whole economic impact went straight to the restaurant industry, they're like, what are you talking about? So being able to provide actual data with that, with the event page clicks and the deals and discount clicks and the promotion redemptions and the hotel specials and all that kind of stuff, to put a number with it is a lot better for us to tell the story of what we're doing as an organization and why it's helpful for us to buy into them and them to buy into us.
Awesome. And just to finish up, I know I asked Brian and Andy 2 fun questions. So if you could bring any event, there's no limit on this, to your county, what would it be?
I got so excited when this came up, and I was like, I hope they ask me this. I want slam ball. Slam ball was a thing when I was a kid on TV, and I saw it came back probably like a year or two ago at one of the trade shows we were at. I want slam ball so bad. I don't care where I have to do it at. I'll put trampolines on Main Street. I don't care. I will be down for that. Slam ball would do numbers. I'm game.
That's so. My trainer growing up actually competed in slam ball, so maybe I could make a connection there.
Fly me the number.
And then I know we had such a great trip when we came out to visit a few weeks ago, and you took us all around. We left very, very full from all of the places that we went to. But is there a favorite of yours that is your go-to recommendation for people visiting your county?
Oh, golly. Like restaurant wise, like Andy said, we can't pick favorites. Mine's either Hobo's or El Gav Tavern. And Counter is a good mention. You did mention Counter. Their chef won South Carolina State Chef Ambassador of the Year. It's got a speakeasy beside it called Elsie's. If I don't shout out Rob, I'd be upset. So I'm going to shout out Rob on that. But really, really good food. The food even presented on the plate looks like it's on the Food Network. Everybody that goes in there loves Counter. So definitely want to include those 3 at least. And I will give one other mention too, because it's a brewery, but it's not really, restaurant, but it's an attraction a visitor I think would want to try out. So if anybody is in Rock Hill and wants to go somewhere really cool as a brewery, again, can't pick favorites, but my favorite beer is there. It's Slow Play Brewing. They've got, I think 24 beers on tap, nice outdoor area, patio, can bring dogs. They do trivia nights. They have got a food truck out there that rotates throughout the week. Really, really good spot. And it's right actually down the street from the Rock Hill Sports and Event Center. So we didn't get to hit that, unfortunately, but we still had a good time regardless.
Next trip, when we come out for disc golf, we will.
That's October. Hey, get your backpack. Get ready.
And so you were raised in your county. You are a local, but also now your job is to bring new organizers to your county. So this is your shot. Why should an organizer consider bringing their tournament or events here?
I'm going to try to make this not sound like a corporate shill. I swear I recite this all the time, but the proximity to the airport's massive. So if we want to do national, international events, being that 20-minute, 30-minute drive down 77, super easy. You don't have to deal with traffic. You don't have to deal with, like if you're in Raleigh or if you're in Atlanta, getting to and around the area, whether that's Rock Hill, Fort Mill, York, Clover, TKK, anywhere really in the county. It takes you about 10, 15, 20, up to 30 minutes if you go on the west side towards York High School. But it's still relatively easy, mostly back roads, so you can avoid interstates. It's really big for us. The facilities are top notch. Brian touched on it earlier. They really do rival some of the best in the whole world. The BMX facility rivals Tokyo, Japan, and Glasgow. But it has a bunch. We have international competition with some of our facilities, which is really, really cool to see. And being from the area, I think just having the ability to kind of show off what we've grown with. Like Brian mentioned, we started from 1985 with Cherry Park and having stuff built there. I grew up playing on these different facilities. I played on the ribbon cutting match for Manchester Meadows on the turf fields when it first opened up, which is a soccer complex the city of Rock Hill Parks, Rec, and Tourism owns and operates, and they do a fantastic job with that. So we've got personal ties with that, and being able to go to explain these to people, just like Brian said earlier, of as soon as you get here, you fall in love with it. There's not like a rhyme or reason, but like when you hear Rock Hill, you're like, that's not Charlotte. So you're like, I'd rather go to Charlotte. But then you get down here, you're like, oh, well, I kind of like might want to go here. So Yeah, I think us having the perfect mixture of a community aspect, small town feel, with the big city vibe of our facilities and our ability to produce events, whether that's with Adidas, NBA, NCAA, ACL, USA BMX, US Disc Golf, Innova, College Disc Golf, Pan Am Games, table tennis, like we've mentioned all of them already, but um, the credibility that we have, even when you talk about recommendations from us, our hospitality is bar none some of the best you'll ever have going anywhere in the country. And that goes to our jobs that our hotel industry and our restaurants and attractions do on customer service. It's always, the Southern heritage of just being nice with the yes ma'ams and no sirs and all that. But it's a thing. So it's nice to be able to showcase that on a national scale, international scale. I'll leave with one example of that. We actually hosted the City of Rock Hill Parks, Rec, and Tourism hosted the USCI BMX World Championships this past May. And with that, we had teams from, I think it was 16 or 17 different countries. And one of our hoteliers in our program, she actually had the entire team from Japan staying with her. And she went and bought rice cookers, and she bought lily pads, and she bought all these different things in the hotel lobby to really make them feel like they were still at home in Japan. We had translators ready on site at the hotel and at the facility. So we had huge volunteer support and local buy-in from our local community that were bilingual, that spoke different languages to help these people. And they were just so excited that, Little Rock Hill actually hosted something like that. And it has happened in the past, yes, but just the fact that we're doing that for people, we're growing so fast. It's really amazing. So, and I can ramble on for days about why I love the area and being from here and how proud I am to do it. So I'll get into that.
Awesome. Well, I know that we could both attest to everything that you just said. We had such a great trip, and it's been such a pleasure getting to work with you and your team. And we really appreciate you taking the time to do this. It's been fun.
Right.
Brenna, anything from you?
Always a fun time.
No, yeah, just appreciate, we chat, I feel like almost every day. So just really appreciate your partnership, and it's been super cool from onboarding you almost 3 years ago and kind of seeing where the city is now. So yeah, huge fans, and appreciate you having us on the podcast here. So
Always. And shout out John too. John's a wizard. If anybody hasn't met John at Playeasy, you need to get with Playeasy and talk with John, because the dude is a wizard with computers. All right. That dude is magnificent. Okay. I know he'll appreciate that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He will appreciate that. And that is also a great pitch to come to our summit this summer, where you will be on stage for one of the sessions. And so we're really looking forward to that as well. But
yeah, that's
all right.
going to be good.
All right. Well, thanks, guys. Until next time. Bye.
We'll see you.
Those were some great conversations with Jordan, Andy, and Brian. As we wrap up this episode, we want to take you on the ground with us in York County to hear from a few of Visit York County's incredible partners. These partners and local businesses are helping to elevate the visitor experience and play a vital role in the growth of sports tourism in the region. We'll start with Kevin from Big Shots. Hope you enjoy.
Kevin Schneider with Big Shots, CEO, hosts events around the country, youth basketball tournaments. We'll have over 5,000 teams attending Big Shots events throughout the 2025 season. And we're here in Rock Hill, a home to Big Shots. We've annually had over 1,200 teams since they opened the Rock Hill Sports and Events Center. So it's great to be back here this weekend and have a packed house of 225 teams coming in.
How have Playeasy's events tools helped you improve your visitor experience at your events in general?
Yeah, we have teams that come to our events around the country. So Playeasy makes it easy it's a one-stop shop for everybody. We think big, and with Playeasy, you save big. So you get the discounts, the attractions, the hotels, the entertainment. It's just a place that all teams can come and look at, the various things that the city of Rock Hill has to offer at one stop, and that's what Playeasy does. So we're a Playeasy fan, and we'd love to use it at all the different places that we're at, but Rock Hill is obviously the city that sets the stage the most with Playeasy. Visit York County and Rock Hill PRT are the best in the country at what they do. I think that the offers that they bring to teams that come into town, as well as the event organizers, it's why we're here 8 times a year. It's a home to us, And the staff's tremendous and providing that first-class experience, and especially at the nation's premier venue in the Rock Hill Sports and Event Center. They set the bar on how they operate here in Rock Hill. So with 9 courts and even 4 more coming, it's the place to play at around the country. Teams are coming in this weekend and many other events, and it definitely sets the stage and the bar as far as the venue and the operations here at Rock Hill.
My name is Justin Miller, and I am the owner of Dank Burrito, Rock Hill, South Carolina. Well, being right here at the Sports Center, obviously it's a huge part of our business. Every weekend there's something else going on, so to be able to market to them, give them incentive to come down here, and give them good food, and then they go back up there and spread the word, it really helps business a lot. Anything that comes to the Sports Center is obviously going to help us, or York County in general. So the more people we get here, the more business we'll be able to do.
Awesome.
And so ultimately we can all work together and just, get you guys more people, get us more people, and we're all happy. But it's great. It is. At first we have a food hall over there, but all those places pretty much closed for a while. So we were the only option. Now we actually have options. So, having that Playeasy discount incentivizes them to come down when they now have choices. And we were seeing a lot of them in the beginning just because we had to. They didn't have a choice. But now we're seeing them because they do have a choice, but we give them the discount. And a lot of them, once we get everybody in here, most of them are going to be repeat customers. We get like a cult following. So once they're here, especially with a lot of these tournaments, they're only here once a year. So every time they come by, it's like, oh, we got to go to Dank Burrito.
So I am JT. I run media, marketing, advertising here at Hoppin'. We are a self-pour tap room here right in downtown Rock Hill. 64 different taps of wine, cocktail, and beer for people to choose from. Almost like a gas station. If you pull up to Buc-ee's or something like that and you're only paying for what you actually pour, we do the exact same thing with all of our beers, ciders, wines, cocktails, all that. We're constantly doing private events here. Our entire building is pretty much customizable. We can move tables around, do whatever people want to do. We've got a beautiful outdoor space here with our patio and lawn. And so tonight we're actually hosting the Early Learning Partnership of York County. So they work out of Winthrop University, kind of supporting young students as they're learning and whatnot, and really setting the foundation. And so we're helping them out tonight. They're going to be doing a book fair back in our VIP room, a little percentage night, a raffle, and everything like that. And that's just one of the things that we're just constantly doing to kind of put ourselves out there with the community. Having the Sports Center right down the street has been really, really great for us as far as, getting those private events in here, booking with them. And then whenever we have these kind of big partnerships coming in, the Big Shots tournaments that they're doing down there and a lot of the volleyball tournaments, we'll reach out and be like, hey, if you guys need somewhere to come and hang out between games or after your game, obviously we're a little bit more catered towards the adults, towards the parents who might need a little bit of a break after that. But having the Sports and Event Center has been really, really big for us, getting as many people in here as possible on the weekends. I think that Visit York County's website has become a really integral part in the community and finding out what they're going to be doing that weekend. A lot of people, they'll go on Facebook and it's just a bunch of different stuff that they kind of get flooded with. And Visit York County does a really good job on their website of making sure that everything is really concise, really easy to read. And so we get all of our events that we can onto there and partnering up with them. And obviously with you guys being like 2 blocks away from us as well, it's really easy for us if we ever need anything and we ever need to put out an event that's going on, we can just head right over and be like, hey, we got this going on, I'll see you then. Okay. We're here for Rock Hill, and we want to bring just an energy and a vibrance to Rock Hill with what we do. And that's the end all be all.
My name is Paul Peart. I'm the general manager here at the Powerhouse here in Rock Hill. And I just oversee the commercial aspect and the events, programming, and community aspect of the community here. So we do things from as small as birthday parties, graduation parties, to as high level, as big as sponsorship events through the city. And we also do a lot of collaborative events with other entities, other partners around the community as well. It could be corporate events, it could be, like I said, birthday parties, it could be graduations, but we're also willing to do more weekly programming and things such as karaoke's if the community is open to doing so. So we're working on doing those things as well. So this weekend we have the Big Shots tournament here. Shout out to Kevin Schneider for helping out with some of the stuff that we're doing here at the Powerhouse. So we're trying to get more of the new operators that we have downstairs, such as Savvy's, Peaceful Palette, Power Play Sports Bar and Grill, and we have other few vendors that are coming in as well. But we want to give some love to them because we do a lot of collaborative events with the city to make sure that the sports and tourism events that we have that are partnered with the city of Rock Hill, that we're trying to get as much food options available to them. We're trying to have more spaces for them when they get away from a little bit of the noise in the arena, and just giving them opportunities to do some things around here while they're here for the weekend. So visit York County. I know that we do some stuff with Playeasy as well. We do a lot of things with the city to make sure that we're continuously doing everything together. We try to merge a lot of the initiatives with the city, a lot of the initiatives with the Powerhouse, and we try to make it one thing. So we do a lot of collaborative events. We do a lot of collaborative partnerships. And we do a lot of events just in general. We work with the NCAA. We were doing things with the Toast. We did like Toast cards, for example, where we were able to give a lot of the teams that were coming before they even arrived here. We had promised them some meals, some desserts, some food options that were pretty high level. We had some food trucks here that day as well. So we definitely had a lot of the people from NCAA excited to come here in Rock Hill. We want to hope to potentially bring them back here again next year, and also this year as well. So
Amazing. Perfect.
Awesome. That was great.
Yeah.
That was great.